Kia ora, as we head in towards the weekend, high pressure is slowly sliding away towards the east, and in its place, some activity pushing up from the south, this band of cloud you can see through here, and also another area of low pressure moving in from the north and the west. Set to bring some wetter weather across those northern parts of the country as we head in towards the weekend. But you can see on the satellite picture, plenty of clear sky across the North Island once that early morning mist is cleared away. Down south though, a bit more in the way of active weather as the front edges up towards Southland and in towards Fiordland. Now that's bringing with it some heavy rainfall, particularly in towards those southern parts of Fiordland, particularly south about George Sound. We have got a severe weather warning out for those areas right the way through Friday and in towards the early hours of Saturday morning as well. But you can see elsewhere, there's plenty of dry weather right the way across the country. Down in the far south, we have got that wet weather through Stewart Island, Fobo Strait and in towards Southland. But for many of us, there's plenty more dry, fine weather in store through the rest of Friday and on in towards the night time as well. Not a bad 1st of September. But as I say, we have got that severe weather warning for the far southern parts of Fiordland right the way through Friday and in towards the first part of Saturday as well. Head along to the MetService website for more information about that. You can see as we head in towards Saturday, the high pressure is slowly pulling away towards the east. We will find that feature down in the far south weakens away and carries on moving towards the south. So we should find an improving story through there. And generally, there's plenty more dry weather still with us. Up in those far northern parts of the country, you can see there's a touch more cloud through the night. But I think for many of us, it's a dry, clear and cold night once again through to the early hours of Saturday morning, particularly in those inland areas of the North Island. Temperatures back down to 1 or 2 degrees Celsius, but not quite as cold as we've seen the last few nights, but still a chill in the air first thing on Saturday. As we head on in towards Saturday, we're finding this area of low pressure moves closer towards those northern parts, bringing more cloud and wet weather in through Northland, perhaps in towards Auckland and the Coromandel, but there's plenty of dry weather elsewhere. An improving story down that western coast, the cloud breaking up and some clear sky returning, but elsewhere we are going to see areas of the cloud pushing back in towards, say, that eastern side of the South Island. Let's start off in the North Island. Plenty of clear weather for the likes of Wellington, Wairarapa and likes of Taranaki as well. But as we head through the daytime, as this next area of low pressure moves in, we'll find the cloud increasing through Northland, Auckland and the Coromandel. You can see we've got some wet weather, some showers pushing through towards the Coromandel, places like Whitianga, picking up those showers through the daytime, and also some wet weather finally making its way in towards those more northern parts of our patch as we head through the daytime. Elsewhere, plenty of dry weather, and you can see even down towards the likes of Wellington and Palmerston North, it's a dry and fine looking day. As we go through the daytime, here are our top temperatures. Highs around about 17 degrees Celsius for Auckland and, say, Tauranga, even down towards Wellington, 15 degrees Celsius. And you'll notice our overnight temperatures not nearly as cold. In fact, if you look up towards the likes of, say, Auckland, still in double figures through night time, a very mild night as we head in towards the early hours of Sunday morning. For the South Island, although we have a bit of a cloudy start down that western coast, that cloud will clear away. And we're left with a fine spell of weather through the afternoon, and not a bad looking story at all. That wet weather in the far south should ease off and the cloud breaking up as well. But you can see that cloud then feeds back in towards Canterbury, and we'll find some patchy drizzle forming around the foothills of Canterbury as we head through the daytime. But from fine weather then for Nelson and down through Westland and Buller, but just more cloud returning towards the eastern side of the South Island as we head through the daytime. In terms of our temperatures, highs back up to around about 16 degrees Celsius for Westport and out towards Christchurch as well. And again, with more cloud on that eastern coast through the night time, our overnight temperatures in towards Sunday, not nearly as cold as well. 5s and 6s for the likes of, say, Ashburton and Christchurch. Not a bad looking story at all. For the second half of the weekend, we're going to find that wet weather continues to move in from the north across Auckland, Northland. Some blustery weather as well. Could be one or two heavier falls to watch out for, particularly across that more eastern side of Northland as we go through the weekend. You can see that low pressure is taking its time to come down. But for everywhere, say, south of about Taranaki, we should be in for some drier and brighter weather. There'll be more cloud feeding on towards the eastern coast of the North Island, and I think down the eastern side of the South Island as well. Some of the best weather out towards that western coast. Not a bad looking day in Hokitika. That's it from me. This is from MetService.com.